What's the crack? Welcome back to the Irish Boys podcast. Big announcement yesterday that Michael Carrick looks like the new Manchester United manager, 2-year contract. So I think the topics for this podcast speak for themselves. I think there's no real point in rounding up on Manchester United's future games because it feels like Carrick is just going to play the second string to put them in the window. But straight into it, Michael Carrick, new manager. Well, how do we all feel?
Yeah. I think it's a sensible decision, especially with a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
And the option for the third year. There's nobody else out there. Nobody else that I would put ahead of Carrick. Let me say that. You disagree, Rory?
No, okay. I like the Carrick saying, okay. I think
reservations.
Yeah, I think Carrick is the right option for the now, okay? I don't believe there weren't other options out there who could have been viable options for United. I still maintain, even if I'm putting head over heart, Areola is a better manager than Michael Carrick and he's available. So I think it should have possibly went to Areola if you were thinking logically. But then Carrick has done such a fantastic job with what's been put in front of him that he's earned that opportunity, But nobody can say that he got it on merit. Because if you look at the managerial candidates that were out there, especially Andoni Areola, they've done more with less. So they're better managers, in my opinion. But I'm really happy that it's Carrick.
Yeah, and maybe there's somebody else in mind that's still in a managerial position that, give it to Carrick for a couple of years as a placeholder, maybe. Let's see how he does.
So what is the contract that Carrick's been offered?
2
years, an option for a third year. Obviously the option is the United board. But it's a 2-year contract, which is really sensible, I think.
That's what I was waiting on.
It's what we wanted.
Yeah. I was waiting to see what they were going to offer, especially when they talk about all these candidates out there, who they're going to pick, and, did they really want is going to be Carrick because of the results he's got and because who they really want isn't available right now. But what contract were they going to give to Michael Carrick in the end? But I think it's too sensible.
It's a sensible contract.
It is, yeah. I think it is.
I mean, there's been some outlandish statements made recently. I heard Gary Neville say that, the last 5 managers that Manchester United have had, they haven't had the pedigree to manage Manchester United. They haven't had super club experience. I mean, did Louis van Gaal not manage Barcelona? Did Jose Mourinho not manage Real Madrid? Is Jose Mourinho not going back to super club Real Madrid? I don't get Gary Neville's thinking in that. There seems to be this expectation that to achieve the Manchester United job you need to have a proven track record at the likes of Barca, Madrid, PSG. That's not going to happen. That's not the club that Manchester United are. And regurgitating last week's statement, Vinny Kompany did very, very well with Bayern Munich. He's a new manager with new ideas and he commands respect, and he's a man manager. He understands the modern dressing room and the way the players need to be treated. I think that might be more important than super club.
But you're talking about the same Gary Neville who'd be singing from the heavens if Gareth Southgate got the job.
Yeah, I do. I'd love to get a pint with Gary Neville and ask him his actual opinion, because I do feel like they are encouraged on Sky Sports to just not agree with to stir the pot.
Yeah.
Honestly, he was talking about Nagelsmann. Now Nagelsmann, I don't know. Julian Nagelsmann has had a very interesting career, let's say. He's a very young manager to have gone into international management as quickly as he did, and that's because he was straining relationships left, right and centre in club football, and then the German board threw him a bone because he's still a very respected coach, but I wouldn't have taken Nagelsmann at United. I mean, Carrick has a big job ahead of him. Michael Carrick, the big knock on Michael Carrick is that Michael Carrick has walked into the perfect scenario at Manchester United. With the lack of football that they've been able to play the same starting 11 week on week. But if you start dissecting the Manchester United squad, not just the team, it's still a really poor squad. If Sonny Lammens got a knock, right, he has to put Bayindir in nets. That's a horror show.
Yeah, I think that was indicative last night. Did anybody watch the game last night? The Liverpool Aston Villa game.
Just seeing the
I seen
results.
the highlights. I didn't actually see.
Yeah, but the Liverpool team are the same. If you take a key player out, that team looks nothing like a winning formula. Especially that backline for Liverpool. But that's what I'm alluding to your point, Rory. We have key players that if one gets injured, it's very hard to replace because of the lack of quality in the squad.
I also think there's a lack of quality in that first team. I think we've seen it when people get beyond the midfield, our defence is shaky. Like Harry Maguire, Matthijs de Ligt, Luke Shaw. These are players that wouldn't be playing for the big clubs in England. You take them out and you offer their services to the Man Cities, Arsenals. They're not taking them. They wouldn't find room for them in their squads, let alone their first teams. So these are players that need replaced. Matthijs de Ligt needs replaced. Harry Maguire needs replaced. There are question marks over Lisandro Martinez. There always have been. Patrick Dorgu and Luke Shaw, I don't think form a very convincing left back scenario. The right back, I think, is non-existent because I wouldn't have Dallo or Mazraoui near that team. So there's big things for Carrick. We know he needs a midfield rebuild. I know that you both like Matthijs de Ligt and Lisandro Martinez. I wouldn't have them near my first team, either of them, even if they were fully fit. I think Matthijs
de Ligt is going to be here next season, Rory.
Of course he is. Who's going to pay him £220,000 a week apart from Manchester
United? It's not only that. He's only
we make these Frankensteins ourselves. He can't even get in the Dutch squad, can he? He's not going to the.
He's not going because he's only out of surgery. He's had back surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was recalled for a bit, but he was dropped from the Dutch team, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't nailed on first.
Yeah,
a starter.
He was called back because he was doing well for United. He wasn't he? He was playing well for us, and then he called back up.
He was included in the Dutch squad.
And then he went out.
Yeah, just look. If you look at the best central defenders in the world, Matthijs de Ligt is C tier. I wouldn't even put him in the B tier. You've got the A tiers that are the likes of Marquinhos and Gabriel and Saliba, and they all encompass in they're quick, they're fit, they're strong, they're brilliant in the air. Matthijs de Ligt is good in the air and he's a solid tackler. Put him in a foot race with anybody and that's him beat. He's not an elite defender.
No. But I think it's not the big, as we speak about a lot of times, it's not the biggest issue in that squad. I think that's why I don't maybe like a one defender, maybe possibly out of the left side. The focus is obviously going to be on the midfield. I think that's the next piece of the jigsaw that they're obviously going to throw the cash at. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think for context here, what I'm trying to say is Carrick has a massive job ahead of him because we've seen him get the best out of Kobe Mainoo, right? Now Kobe Mainoo is a young player who has no preconceived notions of how football is meant to be at other football clubs, okay? He just knows Manchester United, and I think in that respect Carrick will do very well. I think he'll be brilliant for the young players coming through and the players that are coming through the academy. What I'm really interested in is United will need to bring in a lot of players, and how does he integrate those players? Because the likes of Benjamin Sesko has shined under him. Other players have fallen away off a cliff. Diallo and Bumo look like different players. I don't think the wingers have particularly covered themselves in glory. There's questions over the fullbacks. It's a huge game, right? So what I'd like to do now is let's go player by player, right? So Manchester United's goalkeeping situation. We'll go first, Bayender. I'm expecting Bayender to move on.
Yeah. Onana as well.
Onana would have been next. I'm expecting Andre Onana to move on.
So no, I was only going to mention the other option, Vitek. He had a very, very good season. That's the only other keeper we have on the books. Yeah. He could player of the season.
Does he want to sit on the bench though, Kieran?
But that's the thing. That's the question. But I think Lammens gets in.
Now, this is the interesting one, right? Lammens gets covered in a lot of glory at the minute, okay? To me, Lammens is much, much better than Onana, so he has been hyped up to a point that he doesn't deserve yet. He makes a lot of mistakes and he's positionally very poor. There have been some goals and some opportunities this season that I've looked at it and gone, what are you actually at? You've completely misread that. So, would a goalkeeper, do Manchester United sign a backup goalkeeper Do they go to VTech, or do they sign someone who should be first team, who should be an established, proven goalkeeper, and then Sene Lammens to compete against him as a place? Or is everyone happy that Sene Lammens is first choice now?
No, I'm happy with him as first choice. And Tom Heaton's always there.
Yeah, it's an option we've been able to survive on now, Mum, but we're going into the Champions League. Tom Heaton cannot play against Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, those types of teams, and there's no guarantee that Sene Lammens will not pick up an injury. So Tom Heaton is an admirable thought, but do you want to see Real Madrid versus Manchester United with Tom Heaton between the six?
No.
Do you want to see Tom Heaton face down Kylian Mbappe?
Getting back to your question, I think that we could sign a backup. And if VTech wants to come and be that backup, great, because he's had a brilliant season. You know, he was player of the season, or anyway, he won accolades anyway. But will the lad want to come back and sit on the bench even after a full season as a first teamer?
I don't know. I think competitor.
I don't know much about him. Who was he playing for?
I forget. I think it was Division 1. Was it Division 1?
League 1, was it?
League 1, yeah. I'm going back here now.
That's as good to me as Tom Heaton.
Do you think we need a what do you call it? A goalkeeper? Do you not think Sene Lammens is good enough? Yeah, all right.
I think I'm impressed.
I don't know. I'm not the mega fan of Lammens that the rest of United fans seem to be. I don't think he's good enough to play in the Champions League. I don't think he's good enough to play in the bigger games. I think he's positionally poor and he makes mistakes.
They all do, Rory.
They all do, but I mean, I'm more assured. Well, you say they all do, but like, he's not on the same level as the likes of Alisson. He's not as good as Raya. In my opinion, he's not as good as Martinez at Aston Villa. These are all better goalkeepers. You know, they make less mistakes. They're more assured. They're positionally savvy, and they've played in the Premier League for longer. So, you know, there's more certainty with them. I think he's a very good goalkeeper, and he has loads of potential. But I think he was thrown between the sticks, and he's trying to find his way into things. And I'm just curious to see. United will have to sign somebody. Mm-hmm. So, do you buy a first team goalkeeper and allow Lammens to develop, or do you buy a backup goalkeeper for Lammens? I just don't know.
That's a question. But I think all them goalkeepers you
I'd
mentioned
swing more towards a backup keeper.
Are very experienced goalkeepers. All the names you mentioned there in their late 20s, early 30s. Sene Lammens is 22, and he's come into that team 18 million, and he's done for the price and the age of him. He's done very, very well, and made some big saves. And he's an eye for one. I'm glad to see whenever a set piece or a corner's coming in, I'm not shitting myself when Onana or Bayender's in the net, and I'm more confident Sene Lammens is able to claim that ball and do what goalkeepers should do, let's be honest. But like I said, he has made big saves, and he's calm and he's cool, and you know, he made his first big howler there recently. But said all goalkeepers can make them. Martinez can make them, get red carded and clatter people. You know, just as an example to point out,
he's just a better goalkeeper.
Yeah, with
I don't think anyone would come onto this podcast and put Martinez on the same bracket as Sene Lammens.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm only saying, you know,
what Kieran's saying is their experience story.
22-year-old goalkeeper.
Exactly, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Is he too inexperienced to start?
Yes.
Well, he's done very well what he's done. But my opinion is, if for how well he's done, a competing goalkeeper, I think a goalkeeper to compete with, Sene Lammens.
Yeah, competition.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Sene Lammens should not be the nailed-on starting goalkeeper for Manchester United next season, because he's not good enough to win us the league at the moment. I'm not saying he can't get to there, but the goalkeeper I've seen this year does not win titles.
No, neither does that backline
for David De Gea.
I mean, if he had a really established backline, Kieran, maybe he could, but he doesn't. And you've made the point, he won't get that next year. There are alliances going to have to be made for some of those players, you know, where you're looking at, you know, how do we balance out the transfers, right? So on the goalkeepers, that's interesting. We will need to buy a goalkeeper. We're agreed on that, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move now to right back. It is my opinion that Manchester United do not have a starting right back.
I agree.
I don't like
Well,
Dallo.
but he's not good enough.
How not good enough.
Yeah, so if we're playing the game, we're playing the first team that Michael Carrick needs to compete for Champions League and Premier League. Okay, if he wants to stand any chance of even competing for the league next season, okay, Dallo and Mazraoui cannot be the starting right backs.
No, I agree.
I think
Mazraoui should be a floating squad player that plays in League Cup games and lesser games because he can fit in at centre back and right back. Diogo Dallo should be second choice to a starting right back.
I agree. Yeah, like nailed it in the head there. I think.
Yeah, so that leaves us with a goalkeeper and a right back. Okay, so moving into the centre backs, probably the most stocked area of the Manchester United team at the minute. There are a lot of options now. Irregardless of my opinion on those options, I don't think United need to go into the market this season for a centre back.
No,
next
season.
You've got
window.
It's not priority.
You've got Aidan Heaven and Lisandro Martinez, who are competent and confident left-footed left centre backs. You've got Matthijs de Ligt, Harry Maguire, Lenny Yoro, who are right-sided, confident, competent centre backs. Mazraoui can deputise at a push. Luke Shaw can deputise at left centre back at a push. I don't think there's any need to go near the centre back division. Now, would we need upgrades in the future? Are they good enough to start? Yeah. Harry Maguire will stay for one more year and then will need to be replaced, but he's a good option to have in there, so I can leave the centre backs alone. Now, a more interesting debate than right back is left back, because a lot of people like Luke Shaw and a lot of people like the progress of Patrick Dorgu, right? Would you have those types of players starting left back for United next season?
I think if they could do one more season, I think that's another issue that is not priority. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah, we'll call
right
it
back is.
Yeah, we'll call it an amber area.
Yeah.
The highlighted now.
I'm not sure. No.
Yeah,
Not there
red
yet.
alert.
Not red yet. Just
Luke,
like midfield.
Luke Shaw's been decent. It's definitely not the. It's not as important as a right back.
Yeah.
And you can't do everything in one window.
No, unfortunately.
Shrewd signing of a right back.
I agree.
Okay, now into the more interesting area of the pitch, centre midfield. So apparently, Manchester United are preparing a bid for Elliot Anderson.
That's the crack.
That's the
It's the word on the street.
Well,
they're going all out.
There's a big set. Apparently, there's going to because they're part of the reason why they've unveiled the new kit, that they're wearing the new strip for the last 2 games, and then because there's a bit of uncertainty about Michael Carrick getting the manager, they want to get a big name, big midfielder signed before the World Cup in the new kit to give doubters, uncertainties, a bit of confidence around this new contract and new era of Michael Carrick as head coach. Now, I think it's Carlos Baleba, but it's flying about, like you said, Jacqueline. Anderson is going to be. They're trying to bid for Anderson, and they're pitched. They're going to pitch their idea first, but I know City is as well, so they're going to pitch their thoughts to Anderson and his agents of why pick us over City. Well, true or not, I don't know, but that's the reads at the minute, and socials and
The
stuff.
buzz from yesterday.
Buzz, yeah. Mm-hmm. But do you
Be a
think
different buzz tomorrow? Who knows?
Yeah, but you think Anderson's nailed on for City? Yeah.
So, from what I read and what I believe, right, Manchester United have sent or are sending the project to Elliot Anderson for what they believe the future of Manchester United could be. They are willing to pay between 90 to 100 million because they see him as the statement signing of the summer. And then it's going to come down to whether that forces a reaction from Manchester City. It's heavily believed that Elliot Anderson is the key signing for City this summer because Rodri is moving on. Rodri does not want to play for Man City anymore. He wants to go back to Spain after his long injury troubles, and he just wants to be comfortable and see his career out. If Rodri was to leave, and if that is the truth, then I think that they will go hammer and tongs at Elliot Anderson as well. I think Elliot Anderson has established himself as probably one of the best young English midfielders in the world. So any English club is going to want him. I don't know. I thought he was nailed on, Kieran, and then I didn't anticipate United putting Carrick through before the season ends and then attempting to make Elliot Anderson the statement signing. I tell you what, I'm more encouraged now than I was. There's a glimmer of hope. There's a spark of hope there that Elliot Anderson might see Manchester United's quick moving as a statement of intent as to where they see his career.
And and as well, the age of Anderson as well. Yeah, big signing, big statement. 22 years of age, 22, 23.
Didn't Forest buy him for 18 million?
That's something ridiculous. Yeah, but that's always the way. Let them develop in another team and then buy them for mega bucks.
Can we buy the Nottingham Forest head of recruitment, please?
It's not even the head of recruitment. You look at some of the players. You look at that lad that's playing for Real Madrid. We're talking about right backs or left backs. Well, he was Fernandez. What do you call him now? Carreras
or something. I don't think he would have suited the Premier League, Mum. He's a very La Liga fullback. He's able to roam up and down the pitch, and it doesn't really matter if he defends or he doesn't defend because I don't know. I don't think that was the worst decision in the world. I know Real Madrid picked him up, but I think it's different when you look at Elliot Anderson, who's set in the world light now. And Forest just went and looked at him, and when he signed from Nottingham Forest from Newcastle, from Newcastle to Forest. God, that was a slip. When he signed from Newcastle to Forest, they thought it was because Marinakis was helping the Saudis out with the tax write-off. That's how low they valued Elliot Anderson. They looked at it and went, they're overpaying there. He's only a young kid, some developing kid that's come through your academy. He's not a great midfielder. That's a tax write-off. Marinakis. That was how that story was pitched. Look at that lad now. So I think no matter who United sign, and you look at signing Lammens, I looked at the Lammens signing and thought, what are we doing? A Belgian league wannabe is coming in, young lad, and he's going to be the goalkeeper for Manchester United. Now I don't think he is a starting goalkeeper at the moment, but I have been so shocked at how well he's equipped himself this year and how much he's come along this year.
But that's the value of scouting, Rory.
Yeah,
it's you look at the lads that have come from South America. You look at some of the African lads. That's the value of having good scouts that can see the potential, can see that he's going to develop, or maybe he needs a loan, whatever. But a good scouting department can save a football club millions.
Yeah. And I think once we get over the initial hump of reconstructing this squad, there should be plans put in place to build for the future.
Yeah.
I think there is. I think that's something we touched on. Remember talking about Carrick and that as well. I think that's something Ollie didn't have. I know Carrick's constantly branded with the Ollie brush, but I think, like you said earlier, Rory, he's going to be under more pressure this season because he's coming into a much better setup. There's no excuses of the Woodwards or the Glaziers or not spending money or not being backed and stuff like that. So recruitment and football and people above him. So even if Ollie was
back then, Kieran,
sorry, go
back
on.
Then it was brand United.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, commercial.
It wasn't football.
But I'm interested to see how much they back him now that they've announced it before the end of the season, and what funds are actually available this time round. After finishing,
United should have millions, Kieran.
Should be loads.
After finishing,
look at all the players that are going to be sold.
And look,
it's based on financial viability, okay? Manchester United will get £100 million for getting into the Champions League. They were going to recoup almost £100 million in the wages that are about to go off the books, as well as the transfer fees about to be recouped for the players that are out on loan. They should have all the money to go after a really, really successful transfer window. And if we go back to it, if you sign Elliot Anderson, right, if it happens and it's 90 to 100 million pounds, I have read that Elliot Anderson and Carlos Baleba are the two. From what I have read and what I understand, Elliot Anderson and Carlos Baleba are the two. Okay, if it can be done, they're the two that are coming in. Then against that, Elliot Anderson not coming could provoke a move for Adam Wharton. There is the belief that Manchester United could build an English, British, whatever you want to call it, centre midfield pair, like Carrick had with Fletcher, like Roy Keane and Paul Scholes, like the native Isles. I said British there and then said Roy Keane, which should be shot for. But, that can be built within our own kind of English speaking, coming from here kind of philosophy. That we've talked about this in the podcast. They just work harder in the Premier League. They know what it's about. They know what each game is. They feel the weight of the fans and stuff a wee bit better than the Continentals do. And I think those two are perfect. I think if you've got Anderson in there with Kobe Manu, then it's a really good partnership. You then add in the work rate and the 100 mile an hourness of Carlos Baleba to hold midfield, and you've got a completely different dynamic. And then I think Manchester United will exercise the buy clause for Ederson.
Yeah, well, he's relatively cheap in today's market, isn't he?
50 million.
Yeah, and what about, and then
I'm expecting today to go for 50, 60 million as well.
If Spurs
Do you think that all the shenanigans with Real Madrid, if anything, could sway this market? Now, there's talk coming out of the Spanish papers that both Valverde and Tchouaméni are up for sale.
It's an interesting one how that one's going to play out.
I'm not talking for Man United now, Kieran. I'm talking about other clubs. That this opportunity has come along to get two elite, midfielders.
Tchouaméni, in my opinion, is not elite.
Sorry?
I don't think Tchouaméni is an elite midfielder.
Valverde is, Rory.
Valverde is top 5 midfielders in the world, Mum. Valverde's not leaving Madrid. That's nonsense.
That's what I'm saying. All the crack that's coming out of the Spanish papers, right, is that he's a disturber. That this is not the first person that he's picked an argument with.
Right.
No, apparently he's a brat.
Yeah. But I know, a very talented brat. But that's what I'm saying. Could this unexpected event have a knock-on effect?
I don't know. Do you mean it could? They're not going to United.
But no, that's what I'm saying, Rory. That's what I'm saying. The like of Anderson, the like of somebody else that would have been, that City would have wanted, that Liverpool would have wanted. This opportunity has arose now that there's two players that, because of extenuating circumstances, would now be available.
Look, if you offered me Elliot Anderson or Tchouaméni right now to play for Manchester United, I would choose Elliot Anderson, right? Anybody that chooses Elliot Anderson.
If you couldn't get Anderson, would you take Tchouaméni?
No.
See, other clubs would.
Other clubs would. Other Man United fans would. No, not a chance. Tchouaméni is going to come in demanding 300 grand a week. Tchouaméni will think that he is too good. Yeah, he will think he is too good to play for Manchester United. You're making Frankenstein all over again for a bullshit continental signing who has attitude problems. It just... No, I don't want too many. If you say that you wouldn't take Federico Valverde, you're on drugs. That's top 5 midfielders in the world. Sensational. What can he not do? The lad plays right back, right wing, centre midfield, scores and defends from everywhere. He's sensational. Is he going to Man United? No. Do United deserve to sign Valverde? No. Valverde chooses to
but that's what I'm saying. If he's available, it could be a knock-on effect. That's why all this news has come out about, what do you call him, man? Not Wharton. Anderson. Sorry.
Anderson.
Possibly. I mean, Tchouaméni be a very Man City-esque signing. If anyone could tamper Tchouaméni, it would be Pep.
Yeah. That's what I think that's what Jacqueline's getting at there. If they become available, they're
in a very long-winded way, Kieran. Yes.
Yeah, Man City go, look at this, Real Madrid midfielders available.
This is coming on the market now.
That would be insane.
And then United go, yes, Anderson, come here,
Yeah.
Anderson's the one. If you can't get the likes of a Valverde, Anderson's the one. Anderson could develop into being one of the best midfielders in the world. He has all the attributes.
Yeah.
If you can't get Anderson, Wharton is a bit of a downgrade, but still a very good attack-minded, incisive pass-playing player. And I do think one thing that Manchester United are really missing from their midfield is incisive forward passing and goals.
Yeah, I agree.
Our centre midfielders do not, like, people are going to shout at me now and say Casemiro scores headers from set pieces.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very niche goal scorer, fantastic header of the ball, phenomenally good, okay, but he's a very niche goal scorer. What I want is your Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard type midfielder, you know, a bit like Enzo Fernandez, who bags 10 goals a season, you know, scoring, arriving late in the box, that kind of thing. I think United have missed that for years.
No, big time.
Yeah. You know, I was sad to say there's been goals from all over the pitch this season. You know, we spoke about Casemiro there. What, nine goals in the Premier League? You know, Sesko has 11, Cunha and Mbeumo have 9 each, Bruno has 8. So it's good to see, you know, our forward line at least is firing goals and assists. So it's whether
but I agree with Rory. We're not scoring enough.
No.
There could be more.
Yeah.
I think that the wingers have been disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, and Mbeumo and Amad Diallo are there to score goals, and Brandon Mbeumo, I can't remember the last time Mbeumo scored.
I can't
remember the last time Brandon Mbeumo played a game of football where I sat and went, wow.
Yeah. Not since the AFCON, Rory. He's been shocking.
He dropped off.
And has Amad Diallo.
Right, so centre midfield, we're expecting signings. Okay, we know that they have said there's plans for 3, so it doesn't need to talk about. The 10, Bruno Fernandes, here for another season.
Not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Brilliant. Mason Mount, if anything was to happen, can slot into that position. And
there's big talk yesterday about Mason Mount going to Coventry. That Frank Lampard wants him, and the club are thinking of sending him out on loan. Other clubs have inquired about him, but it's his wages that's holding the other clubs back. But there is starting to be murmurs, it's gathering pace, that Lampard wants Mason Mount at Coventry next season.
I haven't read that. Interesting one.
It hasn't worked for Mount.
No.
No, I agree with you, Rory. He's sitting on the bench collecting his wages and not doing anything for United.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to do with the injuries, because I truly believe he's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
On form, yes, he is.
Yeah, on form. We've seen if he had 1 or 2 purple patches, you know, was it this season and maybe last season, where he was coming out, he was back fully fit again and he was getting assists and a couple of goals, and we were like all buzzing for him because he deserved it, and you know, with the injuries he's had. And he picked up another one, a knock or something recently there, hadn't he? And he's just getting back into
always niggles.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him because I think he is a baller, like Mason Mount.
Yeah, but I agree with Rory, it hasn't worked out at United.
No. But I just think my thing is with the Champions League next season and hopefully better runs in the Cup. You know, I know Bruno's is a machine and he's fit every game, but you still need to rotate and stop plays different players in different games to utilise your squad. But I think Mason Mount, you know, when we're focusing so much on midfielders and hopefully a left back or a right back or whatever it is, that Mason Mount will get more minutes and get more if he stays fit, which is the question, you know, to be utilised next season in the squad. And apparently he wants to stay. That's just what I've read.
Yeah, but it's him staying fit though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think can't have a player that came in and out of the squad. Sorry, Rory?
I think once the midfielders come in, Mount's not getting minutes. He's not starting over Bruno, and he won't play in midfield anymore.
Yeah.
And do you know what? The heir apparent to the number 10 position, in my opinion, right, is Matheus Cunha.
Yeah, I think so.
I think United will sign another left winger.
I think a left winger's coming this. Well, if there's enough the budget, I suppose there is. But a left-sided attacker, I think, will get Rashford. Probably won't come back. Well, we don't know what's going to happen there. I'm not going into that again for 20 minutes. But Sancho as well. You know, there's two left-sided players off the books, big wages.
Yeah,
I'd say that. You know,
I think it's going to be like. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment here, right? But I think United are going to sign 5 or 6 players. I honestly think this is going to be a huge investment in Michael Carrick, and we're in this lovely position now that we weren't in last season. Like last season, we signed Matheus Cunha, Brandon Mbeumo, Benjamin Sesko, right? We did that without Champions League football. And we did that having to navigate the murky waters of a Marcus Rashford loan, a Rasmus Højlund loan, an Andre Onana loan, a Jadon Sancho loan. All of these players now are going. Their wages are coming off the books, and in some scenarios, transfer fees are coming in. Okay? Now, if we can sign a £200 million attack, navigating all of that, right, then we can afford to buy 3 midfielders, a left winger, a right back, a left back, and a replacement goalkeeper if all of these players end up leaving. Now, we're not even talking about the fact that Manuel Ugarte and Joshua Zirkzee look nailed on to leave.
Yeah.
Agree.
Right, so if we go back to, you've got your 10s. I think you need a left winger. I think Cunha is over there on his own. Only Shea Lacey seems to be able to come in and kind of play in around that left, but he'd rather be out on the right hand side, right? Mm-hmm. Cunha, I think, is going to be back up for Bruno Fernandes. Let's say that hypothetically you're correct, Mum, and Mason Mount moves on, so there isn't the further playing 10. So Cunha and Bruno, are in there. Do you sign a left winger?
You need to.
I think
there was
well.
Murmurs of interest in Jan Diamande.
It's gone very quiet, hasn't it?
The Leipzig guy.
Yeah.
He's going for a fortune. They're putting a king's ransom on his head.
€100 million, £80 million.
There's a couple of clubs interested in him. A couple of English clubs.
Yeah. That seems to be the ballpark
I don't know much
figure
about him, to be honest.
First team quality attacking player, 70, 80 million.
Yeah.
Cunha and Mbeumo, Sesko.
Isn't that the price that sorry, Kieran, isn't that the price that West Ham have put on that guy Fernandes' head?
Yeah. That's it. I was going to say that earlier. In the relegation battle, if I know we need to sign more than 2 midfielders, in my opinion. If Spurs escape relegation and West Ham go down, Matheus Fernandes could be got at a far better price, I think. Could be an opportunity, I think. Could be an opportunity as well, to save a bit of money and then invest it into those left back, right back, left wing roles. And you have an extra body in midfield, top quality. I think looking at his absolute baller, watching him play in a West Ham team.
He reminds me of Palhinha.
He's his first season.
He's really hard tackling. Yeah. He's an industrious player. He should have scored against Arsenal. I think I watched him against Arsenal and I thought he was very, very good, and he should have scored. But it's not a position he intends to find himself in. I think he's a very selfless holding midfielder in that he reminds me of Palhinha. He sweeps everything up. He's very good at passing the ball forwards. It's either going to be Fernandes or Baleba. In the same way it's going to be Anderson or Wharton. And then I think in the other one, in the experienced midfielder category, I think it's either going to be Ederson or Tonali. I think those are the kind of brackets that United are looking at the minute, which is fantastic to have options, because then you're not chasing ghosts all summer. You go for one, and if you know it's not going to happen or they start playing games, you pivot to the other and you play the two of them off each other until one of the clubs bends on who comes in. But yeah, I do think a left winger could be looked at. I don't think it'll be a superstar left winger, but I think they could definitely look at an option to come in. I mean, they've got Cunha there, and I'm not unhappy with Cunha playing left wing. I just think that they could definitely do with an option out there on that left wing, similar to the way you've got Diallo or Mbeumo on the right. Well,
what about Patrick Dorgu? He was a good backup. He was informed before his injury.
Yeah, he's the most awkward player I've ever seen, but somehow it works.
Yeah, but he's effective.
He is effective, yeah.
He's more effective in that left
shout,
side, left wing role. Yeah, he's more effective in that left wing role, I think.
Yeah.
So could you again pivot and say, right, Patrick Dorgu, we're happy he's the backup to Cunha, or he could play games that's not going to suit Cunha, where you maybe need to cross the ball a bit more and you need to not have those runs in behind, but you're going to have to dig the ball in, and sign a left back?
Yeah.
And if you're not signing Tonali, can I have Lewis Hall, please?
Yeah, I think.
I'll give you Lewis Hall, Rory.
Took the words out of the mouth. I think Lewis Hall and Luke Shaw competing on left back would be much improved. Ideal. And then you've Cunha and Dorgu on the left, competing on the left. I'd love to see more of Shea Lacey coming in the next season. I think that's been touted for the summer. I think that the pre-season tour and stuff. And Cheetah Obi as well, I heard. Yeah. For his performances in the under-21s and the youth teams, he's been on fire recently. Unlucky in the Youth Cup final there.
It was.
Bringing Cheetah Obi and Shea Lacey into the fold. Be interesting to see them. Shea Lacey excites me. Just as from the wee cameos we've seen him coming on for 5-10 minutes, just fearless, just typical wee Skycer, fearless running pace. He can hit a ball. He fucking nearly scored a couple of world leads there when we've seen him. So I think he's one of them Blues players you can get excited about, and you can imagine him running at the Stratford end, the fans standing on your feet next season. You know, be good to see youth and courage and success from the academy with good attitudes.
Yeah, it's so funny to see Shea Lacey play for Manchester United. You know, this sunbed frequenting Scouse House skin-headed Liverpool teenager stepping out on the field with his turkey teeth, trying to wow the crowds and offset the fact of where he comes from. It's really, but he really excited me when he came on and he had those cameos. But then there it goes back to Mum's point. You know, signings kind of force these weird merry-go-rounds in the transfer market. So if you're looking at it, if Manchester United go for Baleba and sign Baleba, right, there were rumours and mutterings that United are interested in Carrick Matoma. Now Carrick Matoma wants to play in the Champions League before he leaves England, and it's not going to happen seemingly with Brighton. So if it was Fernandes and not Baleba, could United go for Carrick Matoma? Who'd be a phenomenal
footballer.
Oh, he's fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
He's picked up an injury.
He moves very like Youngman's son with the ball. Pardon?
He's out of the World Cup.
Is he?
Yeah.
I thought he was
injured. I was watching Sky Sports this morning. Yeah, he's missing the World Cup for Japan.
Oh.
He is injured.
Yeah.
He's worked so hard to be in that. He has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant to watch.
He's very good. He'll be gutted, like.
But look, the last one that I want to kind of cover, because I'm looking at the Manchester United squad here on my sheet, and the last kind of note that I made when I was looking at it was, do United need a centre forward?
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
And if so, is it an experienced centre forward? And who, just to finish off, who would you see that centre forward being? Who would you like to sign?
I think a more experienced, you know, obviously
like an Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, that would be ideal. But I don't think now Aston Villa qualifying for the Champions League that they're going to let Ollie Watkins go.
No, they won't.
Now that Villa are cemented into that Champions League space, I don't think they will be selling too many of their superstars.
No.
I say Igor
Thiago Rodgers is heavily rumoured. Pardon?
Thiago from Brentford.
Oh, I like him. He's just a big bulldozing unit of a player.
24-year-old. You know, they're like won't get the Champions League. United have Champions League this season, so like you said earlier, you're going to might be able to attract a few wee gems, Premier League proven, that have just missed out on Champions League qualification. You know, to play in the as a striker, because we only have one.
So I jotted down a few names. Okay, some of these might piss people off, but let's go for it. So first off, in the realms of pissing people off, Callum Wilson.
No.
Scores goals.
Bench player.
Not enough.
I mean, he's a bench player. We don't want to sign somebody like, if you sign Ollie Watkins, are you starting Benjamin Sesko or Ollie Watkins?
Oh, you're talking about backup, right? Okay.
Ollie Watkins is not going to come in and warm the bench for Benjamin Sesko. He will want assurances wherever he goes that he's the first team player. So Ollie Watkins and Sesko doesn't work. Callum Wilson off the bench, decent.
An option. Experience.
Yeah, an option.
Okay.
Option. Danny Welbeck.
So I have written down. He won't come back here.
Oh.
He won't come back. Plus, I still don't forgive him for trying to chip Manuel Neuer in the Champions League. Fucking idiot. Harry Kane.
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Would Harry Kane warm the bench for Benjamin
He'd be a
Sesko?
starter though.
No, Harry Kane would start over Benjamin Sesko, and Benjamin Sesko would be told that Harry Kane is here for a season or two. You know, Kane gets next season. You're going to be the second choice striker, but you've got to learn off this man. You know, we're doing this for you, kind of thing. You sell the dream to Benjamin Sesko that we're bringing the best striker in the world in, so that you can be the best striker in the world when Harry Kane eventually retires or does whatever. You know, so Kane gets to play the World Cup, comes back to England, finish his career in the Premier League, compete for the Premier League, and then go off.
Break Shearer's record.
And with his age, he's not going to be a 50, 60 million pound signing. You know, Bayern Munich would probably let him go for 30, 40.
Oh, I don't know if Bayern will let him go at all, Rory.
He has been exceptional for them, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't Kane want to break the record, Alan Shearer's record? Didn't he say that himself?
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from. Kane has said that he does want to come back to the Premier League at some point. He wants to finish in the Premier League. Now, what age does he foresee he would still be fit? It's like, you're not coming back at 37, 38 and playing in very many Premier League teams. So Harry Kane, in my opinion, needs to come back while he still has a glimmer of his prime. And what age is Kane now?
34, 35, is he?
34, 35, I think. You know, he's still a phenomenal player, but he's coming to that kind of bracket where you either move back now if you want to establish yourself as the best Premier League striker ever, or you know, you play for a Coventry or something in the future maybe and try and do it that way.
If he
Ivan Toney,
yeah,
I mean, Ronaldo kind of struggled with his age in the Premier League. He didn't look, he kind of just wanted to stand up front. And
yeah, people look at Cavani and Zlatan just for examples. 37, 38.
Yeah. I mean, they score goals, don't get me wrong, and they were very, very good players. I just think if you look at like the way that the Premier League teams are evolving now, Kieran, I just don't know. A lot of it is based on pace. It's how quick you are.
Yeah, as you said, Rory, they score goals, but when they weren't scoring goals, they had nothing to contribute.
They don't press. They don't chase the ball down. Erling Haaland comes back and defends the Man City box like he's a centre back when he's not in possession. It's those sort of players, and Victor Gyökeres is very, very quick. They have pace. They have, they've got the same attributes as Kane and Zlatan, but they're quicker. Ivan Toney?
Yeah.
I don't think Ivan Toney will be the same as Ollie Watkins in that he will look for assured first team places. I think he would come in and compete with Benjamin Sesko. You would just expect to start over Sesko when he's in form.
Yeah, be sure if he wants to come back to England, I'm sure it's an option.
Sorry, Mum?
I said he's an option.
Nah, Mum, you're being very tame here. I expected that one to draw a reaction. I mean, your face is telling the story, but
it's not. I haven't. He's in Saudi at the minute on phenomenal wages. To come back to the Premier League, to drop those wages drastically, he would have to. So,
maybe he's made his dough and he's coming back. He wants to go back. You don't know.
Yeah, look at Jordan Anderson.
True.
Okay, and the last option I have down here is Darwin Núñez.
No. Ex-Liverpool? No.
That one's going to anger a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, he's available. It hasn't worked out in Saudi Arabia.
Sorry?
He's available. Hasn't worked out in Saudi Arabia. Needs a new club.
No, under no circumstances. Absolutely not, and he's a dud anyway.
It's an option. Maybe Carrick could get a tune at him.
I'm an option.
Okay, so that is going to wrap us up for this week. Obviously, some people want to go out and watch Celtic play Hearts. Kieran, how's the nerves?
Yeah, they're all right. No score yet. It's all right.
Okay. I'm sure all the neutrals are going. It will be an interesting game. I mean, Hearts in form should beat Celtic, but Celtic just have that run of luck going at the minute.
Who's at home?
Celtic.
Does a win for Hearts mean that Hearts would lift the Scottish League title at Celtic Park?
Yeah, this is winner takes all, isn't it?
It's winner takes all, yeah. This is the last game.
Yeah.
So yes, they'll lift it today.
Should do, I think. But I don't know if they travel back to their home, have a presentation at their own stadium. I don't know how that'll work.
I mean, it'd be party time for Hearts. Be some story if Hearts actually do it. Fair play to Derek. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to us. Leave a comment in the section and let us know who possibly you would like Manchester United to sign. Feel free to pick Darwin Núñez. We will be back.
Núñez, don't.
And we will be back next week.
Podcast of 2 next week.
We'll be back next week to discuss Michael Carrick's first game, hopefully as Manchester United manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.